What's up, guys? Welcome back to another HERR Lounge podcast. Happy Wednesday. I was really trying to start this cute little intro, but it didn't work out for me. So this is take two, guys, on that note, just in case y'all were wondering why I came in so cheesy.
Instead, we hit it with a deep breath.
Check out this cup that Don got me for El Navidad.
Dude, I saw it and I was like, wow, what a cool cup. I totally forgot that this is what Don gave you.
Totally. Yeah, Don got this for me. So we on the good vibes right here. So with that being said, the quote for today is good vibes, good life. Write that down.
Write it down, reread it, put it as your background on your phone.
Exactly. Thank you. Because if you ain't got good vibes, you probably ain't going to have a good life.
No.
So, you know,
While
cheers
you take
to that.
Well, cheers. Yes, I'll cheers my water since I've already had too much caffeine this morning. On that same token, how do you feel about, before we get into your subject for today, since your quote kind of sparked this thought, how do you feel about people who are doing well for themselves and are very verbose about it versus those that might say, hey, we get it, you're successful. How about trying to be more humble about it?
Did you read the same post that I read?
Were you talking about Sean Wallens?
Yes.
Oh, how funny.
Okay, guys, real quick. This is within my little 8-week challenge group, but I'm going to share with you guys. So because I've been eating healthier, and even though Don gave me some more calories and I gained weight from last week.
Which expected after week 1.
So check this out though. My milk supply is lessening, and so it's I'm taking the supplements and it's just not the same anymore. So I was telling Don, I was I'm really trying to mentally not allow it to fuck with me. You know what I'm saying? Because it really is, because I want to be able to give my child my own breast milk until I can possibly do it. Right. But anyhow, so she was up a lot last night. Why? Because she's not getting enough. Mm-hmm. When I have enough, she's done. So at that 1 a.m. ish, 2 a.m. feeding, she's straight till about 7:30 a.m. and that's it. So last night she got up at 2, she got up at 4, and she got up at 6. She was not playing. I was finally at the end, I told Pete, can you please get up and make her a bottle? I'm done. My nipples can't handle it anymore. She sucked way too much tonight. I was like, get up. But why was I going to tell you that?
We're talking about the post.
So I was online, and I mean, there's nothing for me to do. I'm sitting there, and maybe you're tired, but it's you have someone sucking on you, so it's kind of like you're just sitting there, you know?
This was in the, early this morning?
Yeah,
or
it was
night?
probably about 4-ish when I read that post.
The odds that you saw that same post in a world where you almost see nothing,
I saw
media.
that. And so it was someone that was saying I read where he was saying I vibe with you. You know what I'm saying? I totally wish I was in your shoes, but at some point you got to stop. I'm one that doesn't like to brag. Mm-hmm. I don't, because I feel sometimes for some people it makes them feel shitty.
Yeah.
And maybe because I care about other people.
I understand.
I care their feelings. I don't want to make anybody feel shitty. You don't ever see me post about a new bag, or you don't ever see me post about a new watch or a new car, or, you know what I'm saying? Because honestly, for me, material things don't mean anything.
Yeah.
To me, knowing that I have my future secured means a lot to me.
Okay.
That means a lot to me.
So when you read that, so to give the listeners some context, Sean Wallen, I believe is how you pronounce his name, he owns Lion Not Sheep. It's an apparel company. Mm-hmm. They were probably one of the first ones that made the FJB shirt kind of phrases and designs go pretty viral a couple months ago to a year ago that I saw. Anyways, pretty big clothing brand, and he had this post where he screenshotted somebody's DM that said, hey, I've been following for a long time, I'm a fan, I support what you do, I love your energy, this, that, and the other, and just summed it up with, but could you just be more humble about it? And then Sean Whalen's caption was my team, people on my side, root for me no matter what, right? If I get something, his example was if I get a Lambo, they're rooting for me. If I do this, that, and the other. So I don't know. It depends, because even for you, because I'm the same way. I'm not trying to be verbose about anything, right? But if you were on a trip, if you're visiting family out of town, people would still take that as oh, you're traveling. Oh, you're in Boston. Oh, you went to LA or whatever. Mm-hmm. No matter what it is, some people would take it in you're shoving it in my face.
That's true. Never thought about that, because I don't see it as though
right.
I'm there for a reason.
Exactly.
Unless I go on vacation. Now that's a different story. But then we're in a social media world, so I'm going to share with you kind of where I'm at.
Yeah.
I didn't post it. Do you know that my I was down 22%
On screen
on
time?
screen time. That's a big number.
Yeah, it is.
For me. And I've been so busy with trying to get tour dates and all that finalized. I kid you not, poor Planoli has all these pictures uploaded on there with half-started captions, and you know what I'm saying? And I just don't get back to it.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I'll get to it. Oh, I'll get to it. I've had no desire to post on my personal page. I don't know what's going on.
That's how I felt all last year.
Like, I have no desire, but I don't mind the story.
Mm-hmm. That's how I've
Like,
been.
I've been like, oh, okay, I'll post on my story, but I haven't been caring to post on my personal page. I've been kind of focused on, okay, I need to revamp my podcast page. I need to push my, find more creative ways to work on my apparel page, because ultimately those are the two things that are going to maybe bring me income at some point, right? So shouldn't that be what I'm focused on? And although I funnel everything through my main account, right? Because that's where most of my following is. In actuality, I don't really know how many people who follow me there also follow my other pages.
Mm-hmm.
And why? Because I probably still don't do a good job of promoting my other pages, which is what I'm trying to work on this year. Doing it again in an informative way without it being like, well, what's the purpose of that post?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I want to stop doing that. If I don't have shit to post about and it's not interesting anymore, I just don't want to post because, fuck, well, Instagram says if I want to keep them engaged, then I'm going to have to do it. I honestly have enjoyed our little Facebook group of 24 people.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Our 8-week challenge group, like, we converse on there so much. I've been enjoying that little group. You know what I'm saying?
It's a different connection.
It's a different connection. I posted, Sean was supposed to be on today, guys. But he forgot that he scheduled also a consult. So we have to change things around. But anyway, my point was, he just released some new bands, right? And he's like, hey, would you like to collab? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, you know what? You're about to be on the podcast. This is something that I want to start doing with people. I wish that he was a female, because I wanted him to...
In today's world, he can be whatever he wants.
Right. Oh, that's true. But I wanted his item. I wanted him to give me a band, right, to put in the entrepreneur box, so that if anybody wants to buy the whole collection...
Oh, dope, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And he was just like, he's not there yet as far as like inventory. Yeah. So I was like, okay, no worries. I get it. I said, well, can you give my folks a promo code, for your new release? And he said, sure. Okay, I had originally made that reel that I posted, I think yesterday or the day before, for my Facebook. I mean, for my Instagram. Excuse me, sorry guys. I've only had overnight oats, and now I'm having coffee, so that empty stomach feeling, because I ate it right before working out.
The way we have lawnmowers in the background of RPT, your burping is slightly like the running sound of the podcast.
Pete was talking to me, and he said that, he goes, do you burp on the podcast? I'm like, sometimes. Yeah, I don't mean to. I'm like, it just kind of happens with the coffee.
He does the same thing.
He starts laughing. But anyway, and I was like, that was supposed to be for Fit Friday on my personal page. And I said, no, I think I want to just give it to my, Facebook group people. And that's who I gave it to. And it was their promo code. And, it was funny because I saw Sean today. And he's like, hey, so what happened with the video? I'm like, I'm going to put it out to everybody else. Don't worry. I'm like, but I wanted my folks who, who pay for their exclusive content, you know what I'm saying, who are, not saying that people, you listening to this podcast is supporting me regardless. So please don't misinterpret. See, there we go. You know what I'm saying? That's shit people interpret different ways. So don't take this the wrong way. I'm just saying, I really wanted to have exclusive things for this Facebook group. So I asked him that, and I said, and don't worry, this week. So I wanted them to have a whole week of opportunity, because his inventory isn't large. I was like, okay, well, anybody who wants to buy the bands that's in our group can go ahead jump on that, and then I'll push it to the rest of the folks. But I wanted to give them first dibs.
I don't use bands all the time, but man, they're dope
They're
when used
good,
properly.
Man, I posted a video of me using them, and trust me, ladies, like if you're not a bands like person, I wasn't before. Were you?
No.
I wasn't either. Sean was actually the one who introduced them to me. Not these smaller ones, but the bigger
Super
bands.
thick ones?
Yeah, the bigger ones that you can actually use with weights.
Yeah.
That's where I did it. And actually want to know where the first time I tried it before even Sean was boxing. Shadow boxing.
Oh yeah, when you're throwing the super long ones you would stand on and then throw your hands.
Exactly.
Oh,
Then
yeah.
you go jabs. And
As
that's where the
resistance.
first time I had ever used them before Sean, before anybody. That was the first way I used them, were the bands, where I was like, what? I didn't even know such thing existed. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I saw that. So anyway, my point to that is I get it. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's sometimes like people, I feel like, for example, I feel that I'm sorry, Rob Bailey does it in a very tasteful way for me to show all his success.
Yeah. Well, that's how I wanted to actually. That was a comparison I was going to make because they're really good friends, the Baileys and
then,
Sean.
yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't feel like Rob kind of brags. I think he's kind of shown, and maybe the fans of this guy from that sheep
Lion Not
Sheep. If you followed them from the beginning to now, you probably see them differently too, because you've seen their entire journey.
Did you see a video probably about maybe 6 months ago of Rob walking out of like a store or something, and somebody left a comment like, oh, or they took a picture of his truck or something and they posted it and they were like, oh, it must be nice, driving this thing around or whatever. Or they sent it to Rob or something in a DM and he happened to see it, and he left the store and he was driving. He was like, he went on this rant of like, dude, it's a fucking truck, man. If you would have told me like what are some of the things I did to be able to buy something like this, I probably would have just helped you out.
Yeah.
Like, it's not about the thing. Like, get over the thing. Like,
and that's why I follow certain people.
Yeah,
do you understand?
for sure.
It's not about what yes, their house is like, oh my God, right? Like, who doesn't want to wake up
Cabin in the snow.
in a cabin
Overlooking the mountains.
overlooking the mountains, and they're drinking their coffee like this.
Photo opting,
Bro, I mean, I want to wake up there in a cozy, beautiful cabin with large windows that oversee. I mean, that would make me want to wake up. I wouldn't. And you're almost like living in nature because they have so many trees around them and it feels so good, right? I mean,
But that's what you see when you see that video or picture, right? Other
Yes.
people literally interpret it as like, I'm going to kill myself. I'll never have that. I can't believe he's showing
and
his
that's
house.
why sometimes you have to think. That's what I was telling you. Sometimes I don't post things because, what it was. Let me give you a good example about this yesterday that I kind of was. So I love going to the Heights area, right? I would love to be able to live there, right? Can I afford it? Yes. Why don't you want to live there? Because there's not very many places with yards. Those are all, and the houses that are there that do have yard have been there for years
Old
and
as
they're
fuck.
not for sale.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's the newer stuff that's for sale.
Mhm.
It's rare that you find an older home, that the beautiful big older homes for sale. I would love it if somebody just let it go. I'm like always looking, you know what I'm saying? I'm not impressed with the newer three-story high rises because it's not where I am right now in life.
Yeah.
I think if I were 28, 25, that'd probably be, cool for me.
Of
But right
course.
now I've got kids and I don't want to go up and down the stairs to get them something that they need on the second floor.
You also don't want them going
Oh
up and
yeah,
down the
and
stairs.
imagine that, especially with one that's going to start crawling here anytime soon. We go to this park right across the street from Lululemon and all this stuff that's there. I love going there because the ice cream is there. I take Penny and then we cross the street, we go to the park and we leave. You know what I'm saying? So it's like perfect. It goes together. Well, yesterday I walk in. And we're walking in together, and Mickey's with us this weekend, and so she's walking with me. I put my bag down. I put Sunny like to the side, and I sit on there. And there was this other lady walking in front of us with her daughter, and so she kind of goes, and they sit in the bench in front of us, and Mickey and I are on the picnic table behind. And I just hear her say, well, we know there's not a lot of, these aren't all locals here. This park doesn't get this full. I wonder how many really do live here. And I said,
Wait, you just overheard this?
yes. So where I'm sitting, imagine this is me and Mickey on the picnic table.
Yeah.
The bench is right there.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not that far apart. I mean, there's probably this much gap.
Sure.
And I couldn't, Mickey's on her phone, so she's not paying attention. I'm watching Pete push Penny on those swing. I said, wait a minute. Then I started getting all defensive. I'm like, bitch, I got that same bag you got it at my house. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, then I'm like going through, I'm like, and my keychain alone, you know what I'm saying? I'm just like going through them, and my stroller and this backpack, you know, and I'm like going, I'm like, did you just get your feelings hurt, Marisol?
You have the angel and the devil on your shoulder right now.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, did you just get your boo-boo? Calm down. You don't have to prove nothing to nobody. You know what I'm saying? It's like, whatever way she's feeling, I get it, right? Because you know how if you live in a subdivision, right?
Your dudes pay for that park.
You pay your HOA fees to be able to go to that park, and then all of a sudden all these random other people, but it's a public park. It's not a park that belongs to a neighborhood. It's been there for years. As a matter of fact, they might have even updated it because that wood looks nice now, and it wasn't like that years ago.
We're still talking about the Heights area?
Yes.
Okay.
And so it was funny. And then when Pete comes and I was like,
you'll never believe.
She said, she goes, oh, I heard her say that as I was walking off with Penny, but I didn't know what she meant. I said, no, that's because you didn't hear the rest of the conversation. And I was like, I sat there and I just thought to myself, I'm like, how does she know people that live, that, you know what I'm saying, that are here aren't financially the same as you? Like, you know what I'm saying? You think you're the only one that can afford to live here? Like, oh, well, they're not locals. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, calm down. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't own this park.
But it's funny how your mind jumped to like, how does she know that like financially other people couldn't afford?
Yeah, exactly.
It might not even be that. I could just be like, I've never seen you.
But that's what I'm saying.
I know.
That's why I was like, girl, calm down.
A lot of Marisol,
insecurity there or what?
Dawn finds herself calling you Marisol, just saying it the way that you say it about yourself. She's like, oh my God, I can't stop saying it the way Marisol calls herself Marisol sometimes. But no, like that's some of that you have to think is social media wiring, where we're wired to like, because for the better part of a decade now, we've been constantly like keeping up with people's highlights of their lives, right?
Yeah.
So when somebody kind of you feel like is stepping on your toes in a sense or questioning your ability to do X, Y, Z, you're just like, hold up, wait a minute.
It was funny because it was Mickey that said, does she not know how much this backpack costs? And I busted out laughing because I said, oh my God, it wasn't even me that I didn't even like.
You said it in your head. She said it out loud.
I said it in my head. Like, okay, my baby bag is not even a cheap bag. And it's funny because as that lady was walking in, and I can't think of the damn name of the bag because it's not even that relevant.
For listeners, by the way, that aren't from the area, the Heights is like a very like old, very uppity type of now, yeah.
When my grandparents first moved to the U.S., that was the area they lived in, and it was a run down area, meaning you were basically poor if you lived there.
Was it still called the Heights back then?
It was.
How funny that name really kind of, as the area evolved, the name really stuck with it.
My mom said they actually considered it the Montrose area still at that time.
Really?
Well, because of the fact that what is that street called? It's if you're coming from Katy back over here, you go through Shepherd, and then it's the next one, and people always pronounce it so
Bingle?
No.
Blaylock?
You're way far. You're way far. You need to keep coming. Come into town, Rob. Come into town.
Oh, like on this side of
this side, you're coming.
8.
Yes, no, you're still coming into downtown. Man, Studemont. So some people say Studemont and some people say Studemont. So that whole area right there, way back in the 70s, my mom said was kind of still considered Montrose. So you were still there, and that house everybody lived in, meaning my grandparents, my parents, like they all live there.
A house that old would be $1 million house now.
Oh, I know.
If not more.
My aunts were saying that. They're like, can you imagine if mom and dad would have kept that house? And they purchased that house. And it was like, my aunt said it might have been like $20,000.
Wow.
And it was insane money. Like, it was like all the siblings, the older siblings who were, I guess, working. I don't really know because I wasn't born yet. So they were the ones that were able to get that house. And that's when my grandparents got that house. But it was like an insane amount of money, which 20,000 right now, what?
You're lucky that's a good down payment.
Yeah, exactly.
You're lucky if that's decent down payment.
Thank you.
Just to avoid PMI.
Yeah, exactly. So what were we talking about before? But it was funny because when she was walking in, the bag that she has, and it's not even a common bag, but it's a really cool bag because it's almost like a luxury bag, but you can wash them and you can do all sorts of stuff with them. They're really cool. Anyway, I'll have to show and tell on the podcast which bag I'm talking about so that I can tell you guys. It's not even like, I can't even remember the name. That's how crazy it is. And I only have one of them, but I love the color because I love pink, and it's a neon pink, of course.
Sometimes screens don't do justice to colors. Like, I'm looking at 2 different monitors, and my laptop has True Tone, which really gives the right color. This monitor, not really. But then you have the in-person. Marisol's pink is burning my eyes. The car, you can't see the car out of the shot.
And my nails.
The
are
nails,
officially now pink.
The little power wheels, the couch, everything,
Yeah.
everything.
You know, it's what it is.
It's one of those days. So how did that end? Did y'all
I just kind of
you let it go?
I let it go. I mean, I wasn't going to say confront her. What did you mean by that? You know what I'm saying? I wasn't going to say that, but you know, I just thought it was funny, and I just kind of, but I caught myself. I said, why are you getting so defensive? Like, I mean, she's a local. She lives here, and she probably wants to be able to come to this park where her kid usually comes to play without 100 kids in here. I mean, it was packed yesterday. I don't even know why. It was like a gloomy day. You know what I'm saying? So, but it was hella packed.
Probably because
like
the day before everybody was home from all the rain.
Probably, yeah. And it was crazy.
Get
So
these damn kids out of the house.
Yeah, for sure. Oh my God, Penny has so much energy. Like, Rob, I was sitting there Saturday, and we were supposed to go to my friend Shauna's kid's birthday party. It wouldn't stop raining. I wasn't going to take the girls out. Like, well, Penny, would have been fine, but it's like getting so late, all prepared for, in the rain. I was like, man. But we also had a birthday dinner that night at his sister's house. I was like, man, I hope it stops raining to be able to at least go to that, so that Penny can go play with somebody. Because, bro, she's got so much energy, like, just wrapped up in her. She was running in circles just because.
Dude.
Just cuz.
I'm not trying to compare Penny to my friend's pet by any means, all right?
Oh, my God.
Hold on. They came, a good friend of ours, a good couple, came over, and she was working. He was out having a beer on a patio with their dog. He brings the dog over. The dog hadn't been to our new place yet, and it's been like, I don't know, a year or something, 6 months. And the dog does not like hardwood floors. Usually, that's why they never bring him over. If it's like hardwood or anything that's like this even, the dog hates it. The dog will literally like...
Because of the nail?
Because of the nails, probably, right? Something like that. Anyway, he ended up liking it a bit, and then they live in an apartment complex, and they go outside. This dog, like, he'd never seen a dog park. He goes to the park all the time, but it's like he walked through a house into a backyard. His mind was blown.
That's hilarious.
He, like, looked at my buddy, like, his owner, right, my buddy. He's just like, go ahead, boy. And he's just running and just did not want to come in. Once we all opened the door to come inside, he looked at us, and he started packing up, like, I'm not going back inside.
That was Penny.
And they were like, we have to get a house. Like, we have to get out of the apartment life.
Yeah. I mean, I just told Pete, I was like, how much longer before Sunny is old enough to play with her? Because she needs a buddy. My sister, I told my sister about this, and she was like, I mean, the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. She's like, do you not remember yourself? I'm like, well, no. She's like, I mean, you'd get home and it was like you'd do your homework and you couldn't wait till mom got home so you can get out of the house. I mean, I was ready with my bike at the front door because I knew after the second episode of Punky Brewster, and yes, Asenet, Punky Brewster.
I don't know what Punky Brewster is.
Oh my God, bro. We're going to go through this today. Punky Brewster. She was my girl.
What was the show called?
It was Punky Brewster.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, it's Punky Brewster.
I've heard the name. Like I
and her name is Soleil Moon.
Huh. Don's probably gonna be like, we've talked about this before. I don't remember this at all.
I love her. So,
By the way, real quick, when I got here to, the meals, I take them to the front door so I can go in, and then anyway, I knock on the door, and Sonny,
Penny?
what if Sonny started talking?
Yeah.
Penny was like, ¿Quién es? And I was like, what do I say? And I was like, oh, el barbón. She's like, oh, espera. And she goes and gets Lisa.
That's hilarious. Yep, that's the only way she knows you.
Yeah.
You should be like, ¿Va a venir el barbón? And I'm like, because that's what my babysitter named you.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Oh my gosh, she gives everybody their names.
So then I put the meals on the counter, right? And I'm going to walk through the back to come back here. And she's like, barbón, espera. Mira, la agua, le echo esto y se hace purple.
Yep, that's
Spanglish.
Penny,
It's pretty good.
And she's like on this English Spanish thing right now. Like she's really like, but it's funny. We were watching this show, and we'll circle back to what we were talking about. So I haven't forgot it. I'm like, it's staying right here. It's like lingering like this.
Okay, it's like, when are you gonna let me out?
Yeah, well, exactly. We were watching this like travel show, but it's a YouTube guy, right? But it's like really cool. So he's in Mexico City, and he's going through like all the foods of different regions, and we're just sitting there, and I'm just like, I hate that I'm trying to get back on. I told Pete, I said, the next time we go to Mexico, I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pretend, I'm going to set the date, and I'm going to prep as if I'm competing for a bodybuilding show, like legit, like a bodybuilding prep.
You starve yourself.
So that when I go to Mexico, I can eat whatever I want, and it's not going to make a difference because...
Yeah, because that's how your metabolism works at 40.
I mean... I'm just going to do it because I told him, I said, I'm going to prep. I'm going to get real. I said, I'm going to prep for it. I said, and that way I can eat. This guy, they were eating everything. And, but it was so good. But anyway, so he's got like a translator with him, right? And they're also like influencers, like foodies and stuff like that. And so they're talking and Penny goes, she's kind of like paying attention. And she goes, oh, I understood what they said. I said, oh yeah. She's like, yeah. So they're speaking Spanish. I said, yes. She goes, oh. And she just kind of stays quiet. And she goes, yo quiero ir ahí. She goes, that wasn't me, guys. That was Rob.
My
just so
bad.
y'all know. She goes, because I understand them. And I said, yeah? She's like, yeah. So can we go there? I said, well, that place is called Mexico. I said, and everybody that lives there speaks Spanish. She's like, everybody? I said, yes. She goes, oh, yo quiero ir allí. ¿Cuándo vamos a ir ahí? Porque ahí hablan español. And it's like, she just got happy.
Wow.
And it was crazy.
Why don't you just take her to the Michoacana?
I told Pete, I was like, I don't know if I did wrong by only teaching her Spanish, but she just finds it more comforting to speak Spanish. She feels like, because we did her first YouTube video, I said, do you want to do your intro in Spanish or English? And she'll start in English, and then she'll say, no, yo quiero español. I'm like, okay, then you do Spanish, whatever you want to do. But then she'll say some things that I think for her seem more fun to say in English. Because she'll say, come on, guys. And then she'll say, ahora, chicos. So you see what I'm saying? Like, I guess for her, some things sound better in English and some things sound better in Spanish to her, which I think it's weird, right? But I thought it was hilarious. But going back to what we were talking about that post that you said, right? I follow a lot of people because of, for me, that's motivating, right? Even these influencers that I see that they're stay-at-home moms who have become influencers doing silly reels that you couldn't pay me to do. Like, I just don't have the energy to do them, right? And then you see their house and you're like, that's on influencer money from all the people you collaborate with. And, you know, I was like, and it makes you just think like, come on, why can't you just sit there and just do it? Just make these videos, let these numbers go up and just keep doing it. Like, I just can't get myself to just, and we're talking about, well, they look like my age, but they might not be. If that makes sense. I'll show you them.
Okay. That's why I'm envious in the sense of like Chingo's ability to continue to be the entertainer that he is. And somebody give him an idea or him have his own, and then he goes through with whatever it is, a video, a sketch, or whatever. Because as much as I like that as well, I also don't have the energy for that. I just don't. I can't find myself laying that idea out, putting on the cameras and maybe like a costume or something, or even if it's just myself, if it's just like silly shit in the house, sometimes Don will have an idea and be like, hey, I saw this TikTok, we should do it. And I'm like, get out of my face. I'm not doing that.
That's like with me and the videos. So I felt like that day that Joseph came over, we recorded 3 videos, and I just need one more, and I'm set for the month of January.
Cool.
So if I can just dedicate one day to recording 4 videos, right? Like, so probably the this third week of January, I'll have him come back. We'll sit and record all these videos that I want to do, because I felt like, I was like, I'm going to have to get dressed. Like, I just, that to me is a hassle, guys. Like, I know it sounds crazy, but I'm not wearing makeup right now. So if you're watching this YouTube video, this is what I like to look like Monday through Friday.
You don't look bad. Like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you expecting to put on? Like,
makeup, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't feel like doing makeup. I don't feel like, and also this hair right now, I just have zero desire to fix it because I have roots that are like half of my head. And so I'm finally going to get that done. And then my cousin, the whole nutcracker thing, because she was working there for a second, is done with. So now she has time to install my extensions. I gave myself that as a gift for my birthday.
extensions?
That was my extensions, because they're expensive as fuck, right? And so I told Peter, I said, okay, I think I want the extensions for my birthday. I think that's what I want to go ahead and do. And he's like, all right. So I haven't opened them because I want for us to open them together. Unpackaging, like unboxing fake hair is the best, right? And I text her yesterday. I said, I have it. She goes, so how's the hair? I said, I haven't opened it. I'd like for us to open it together. She goes, ooh, the smell of new hair. I said, I know.
Oh my God.
And so it was funny because we were both kind of talking about that. But I have to have the fake hair in order for me to care to fix my hair. It's so weird. I don't know why. Otherwise, it's this bun.
I like the
every
bun.
day
What's
of the week. Yeah, I don't know. I should probably put just a little bit more effort into to fixing that hair. Yeah, except for the bun. I'm just like, bun sounds good to me today. Okay, another bun it is. And it's going to be the messy bun, or a really good bun, or everything's slicked back. Like,
I feel like every lady that's in the group or in the challenge can relate to that. You know,
yeah.
They're like, fuck all this.
It's like I tell Mickey, I said, wear the bare minimum of makeup. Like, don't start doing too much. My aunts told me that, and I was like, oh my God, how could I not wear as much makeup as you guys? Like, it's so much fun, right? Because I couldn't wait to be a grown up, you know? And now it's like, the less makeup I can wear, it's like, yes. I was like, okay. But anyway, why was that even when we're trying to go back?
Yeah,
to
you were going back to the post about.
I don't even know why I got. Oh, because I was talking about the influencers.
Oh, right.
And so when I see stuff like that, it encourages me. It makes me feel like, wow. Now, when I do see too much of like, now that I got this $1 million home thing, and sometimes I'm just like, okay, don't put the price tag on it. Just, you know what I'm saying? Tell me the story behind it. Don't tell me the price tag. It's obvious your home was probably $1 million. You know what I'm saying? We don't need to know the price.
Let people use your imagination.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it looks like your house cost $1 million. You know what I'm saying? At least. We don't need to know the price tag. But how about you give us, it's like Ilse says, give them the story. Like, if people want to know the behind the scenes, like, I went through how many houses until you got to this beautiful $1 million home. You know what I'm saying? Or even like, I never imagined I'd be able to live in something like this. You know, I've had to work however many years. Like, I feel like that's more encouraging, and it gives people hope who are wanting to work to maybe even own a home, because you still don't own a home, right?
Yeah.
That, you know what I'm saying? It's going to take a little while, but you know, I mean, it took my parents a while before they owned a home.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it was like, I mean, we went through apartments before, you know, we owned not we, but my parents owned a home. You know what I'm saying? So like, I feel like sometimes well, not sometimes, most of the time it's about the story. So when I read that post last night, I was like, don't say that everybody on your team is winning. Don't say that. Just say, I would have approached it different. Like, I'm sorry that you feel this way, right? I would have been more like, if anything, I would have been like Rob Bailey. Bro, if you would have asked me, how did I get here? Can you give me some tips? Can you, whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? Can you tell me that? And then, you know what I'm saying? I'll gladly give it to you. And that was the perfect response when Rob did that. Because he went on a huge rant on his story. I saw that.
I can appreciate that kind of sentiment that you just had and that kind of response. But I also liked Sean's approach of just like, and for me, just because people are so whiny these days that if they're going to whine about somebody being a little verbose about their success, like you're even complaining about that. Would you rather them be crying on social media about all of their problems and dirty laundry? Like, wouldn't you rather hear about what they're doing and how they're succeeding at things? Like,
that's very true.
Just constantly bitching about stuff.
Did I tell the story yet on here about Rob Bailey giving?
You told
DLB?
me that.
I told you the story.
You sent me a voice memo. It was so impactful to you.
It was so because I've not had friends like that because.
You're pause. Hey, edit that part out at 35 minutes when I said I hadn't had friends like that.
I've never had friends where, well, maybe because I've never allowed that to happen in my friendships where they can be like, bitch, what are you doing? Like, it's about the paper. You know what I'm saying? My friends have never been like that. It just kind of happens that they end up marrying someone who worked their way to be successful. So now they get to be stay-at-home moms. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like, shit, we finna go find him. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like, let's go dress up and go find this guy. You know what I'm saying? There was just, you know, it just happened. It didn't like purposely happen. So it's crazy because, so let me tell you how this story, guys. And I've always liked, and that's probably why I've liked their duo so much, is that Rob has always been behind the scenes and it's always been DLB in the front, right? But no one really knows that there's no DLB without Rob Bailey, and there's no Rob Bailey without DLB. Do you see how they work for each other?
Oh, yeah.
And I hate when people would be like, who the fuck cares about Rob Bailey? Like, we're here for Dana. I know, but there is no Dana without Rob, because he would be the one to be like, we got to record these videos. You know what I'm saying? Like, he saw potential in her. He saw that there was a way for both of them to, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's pretty damn cool. And you've got to go back to watch old videos. I'm not even talking about like 2015. I'm talking about you need to go way back and watch when they were working out in this little, like, it looks like a storage unit where they set up like weightlifting machines. They probably bought the used because they don't look like the best equipment. And he invested his money. My point was, when they were really young, they were broke, right? So he gives DLB basically a Christmas card and says, here you go. And so she opens it, and it basically, he wrote out their plans for them and how they were going to make it happen. And she was all like, fuck yeah, we were going to do this, right? She saw the vision, right? Mm-hmm. But then she's got that one friend, because I'm sure everybody has that one friend who's like, DLB, what are you doing? We all know a piece of paper means nothing. She's like, no, but listen, he like has it planned out. Like, it's going to happen. We're going to have all this. You know what I'm saying? She was dating somebody with money. Rob, the way he described it was that he had he'd have like wads of money. You know what I'm saying? He's like, I don't know what he did, but he had money. You know what I'm saying? He was like, and I was broke. We were broke. And so,
fast forward, he's in prison for drugs.
Right. I don't know. He didn't say where he was, but he was like, and that friend was like, I'm really worried for you, Dana. Like, there's no future with Rob, type of thing. And fast forward to right now, where the fuck are they?
Yeah, and that was like over the span of like a decade.
I mean, it's amazing. Like, it's amazing. And so for me, that's what their story is, what's motivating. The fact that I see that how they do shit is just like, it shows you that there's potential in anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's really up to you at the end of the day, right? It's really up to you what you're going to do to make it happen, right? It's like this weight loss challenge, right? It's like I tell everybody, you have the you know what you're putting in your body. Let's just be real. So if you saw a burger and you see probably salmon with green beans and rice, but here's this burger with fries, which one's going to probably taste better?
Oh, that burger's going down.
Okay. Which is probably going to be better for you?
I mean, I guess the fish with veggies.
All right. So we make these choices ourselves. So that's why sometimes when I can come off as rude as saying you're overweight because you want to be overweight. Let's just be real. You choose to be overweight unless you have a medical issue, medication, hormones issues. PCOS has that effect on women, right? Women are a little bit more complicated than men. You know what I'm saying? We've got all kind of different shit happening, you know?
Extremely.
Yes.
Louder for the people in the back. Women are extremely
You know what I'm saying? Like
different.
the hormone thing, like John was explaining to me, and I was like, maybe I've been fortunate because I said, well, what do you feel? Because I'm like, well, shit.
But no woman escapes that. Like, y'all are all going to go through those hormonal changes as you get older.
And no, and that's what's crazy. I'm like, when is that going to happen? So last night again, guys, because I'm up, every time I wake up, I'm reading something new. Do you know that? It's hilarious. I wish that we could go
At least you're using your time wisely.
Yes, that's true. Because I feel like, what am I doing on social media? There's nothing, you know what I'm saying, on here. But last night, I went through the rabbit hole of, I ran out of my DHA supplement, right? And I said, well, damn, I have some of the omega-3s. Well, what's the difference? You know what I'm saying? Like, why, you know? And so it was like, because there's DHA omega-3s supplements where there's together. So I go down this rabbit hole and it goes down like how much you're supposed to have a day. So it's like, we're supposed to have at least 500 milligrams a day of DHA. And then there's, I think, an EPA, and you're supposed to have another 300 of that. So it's like a whole formula. So then I go back and look at the brand that I buy. And I'm like, oh shit, I'm short a few hundred. I'm like, well, what brand is going to have this one? And I'm like looking. So we're not able to get these things. That's why they said it's so good. Like, these things are so good for your brain. It helps prevent, it says like, you honestly taking these helps prevent, which I wanted to tell my sister, like cancer, dementia. It helps diabetes, because a lot of those things that they have in common is inflammatory. So these things help control all that. You know what I'm saying? And so I was like reading about all these things, and then I go down okay, well, which one's the best calcium? And so it's like different for men and it's different for women, the amount of milligrams you're supposed to have, because I take a calcium as well. I take an iron as well. I'm going to do, I did a little like, I took a picture of my hand with all my supplements, and I did like little arrows to let you know like what they're all for, right? Type of thing. I still take prenatal. That's my multivitamins, prenatal. And I've continued to take it because sadly it has better shit in it than the regular, multivitamin for women. And I buy the over 40 also as well, even though I'm 40, but
yeah, get a jump start on it.
Yeah, exactly. And we need different things at that age, kind of like the hormone issues start to happen and so forth. But it's crazy because I was talking to my mom, and she's like, I don't know, she was here one day, she spent the night, and I was like taking my vitamins. I mean, you saw I almost choked on them the other day.
I thought you were going to throw up on the microphone.
And I was like, oh my God, it's the smell, because they're so strong, you know? And so she goes, oh my God. She's like, why do you take? And so she's like, she goes, my mom is a reader. I've told you guys before. She goes down the rabbit hole. She's like, oh my God. She's like, I don't even know who told you to take all those supplements. She's like, but I wish that I would have started when I was your age, because I've always taken a multivitamin, but I've never taken all the extra stuff. Multivitamin, calcium were the only two. Those are the only two I had. Oh, and CoQ10.
Marisol had some strong ass bones growing up.
CoQ10 I would take. No, this was like in my 20s when I started. And the reason why was because the CoQ10, after my dad passed from heart issues, which really was caused by the diabetes, I got real paranoid. So then I was like, okay, well, I got to get my heart going. And CoQ10 is great for the heart. You know what I'm saying? Keep everything clean and running. So then I jump on the CoQ10, you know what I'm saying, supplement. But you can find CoQ10 in other things as well. So you don't have to take it by itself. But anyway, it's so important for you to like really read like the labels on some of your supplements, because the cheaper brand, listen guys, if you look at the bottom, all the other ingredients that it's mixed with, there's the brand that I buy, it's got 3 other ingredients in it. And then there's other brands that got like, it lists another 8 ingredients that are involved in making that supplement. So it's like it's like food, right?
Yeah.
the more things you can pronounce on the label, that's probably the better thing for you to eat. So,
and also like the amount of like milligrams of whatever the thing is.
exactly.
That's super important.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually I want to do that for our Patreon, or for our patrons, because so this is kind of on subject, off subject, but yesterday, or maybe today, the CDC director was on mainstream media talking about how the new study that came out was that I believe it was 75% of people that were hospitalized or that were dying were
what?
Were inpatient with 4 or more comorbidities. So super
And what was
sick
one
people.
of them?
I mean, you got heart disease, diabetes,
Obesity.
obesity is like number 1. Yeah.
And that's why I posted that on our group.
Oh, you did?
I did.
Oh, I didn't see that.
I said, Marissa, of course, had to make a joke. She said, "Who put my feet on there?" That's why I posted it, because I don't want for people to understand. Like, I'm sure people are like, bitch, don't nobody want to have this fit looking body. I don't want you to either if you don't want to, but I do want you to be healthy.
Yeah.
I want for everybody to be healthy, because you know what?
Health is wealth.
Health is wealth. And the next time some shit pops off again, right? Because there's so
'Cause
many
weird
transformers that are happening right now that I can't even, the names that they're coming up with right now, I'm just like,
Yeah, Omnitron was light. We got lucky with
bro,
Omnitron.
what is that? Transformer. That is that was a name for the next Transformer movie. Like, they just need to use that name. I was like, I can't with you guys anymore. How many of y'all are you going to start? And my dumb bitch of the day goes to,
Hey, there we are.
okay, to the lady who put her son in the trunk.
One of Houston's finest educators. I don't really know her name or where she taught. I think it was actually in Cyprus.
Cyprus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That I thought it was something out of like the Babylon Bee or
I
the
thought it was a
Onion.
joke.
I thought it was fake as fuck. Yeah.
They were so vague, though, when it was like, teacher puts student
in
in
trunk.
the trunk. Okay, why? What happened? So it was her own child who had COVID and she didn't want to get exposed.
Yeah, so she was taking him to another, whatever site to get further testing or whatever. Dude, somebody commented, in our Discord, somebody goes, imagine she's on her way to the other testing site, she gets rear-ended. I was like, that's dark, but that's hilarious.
I have become this I'm here for the comments person.
Of course.
I was not before. I was just like, okay, there's way too many comments like on a post.
Yeah.
But I've just enjoyed that way more than anything else, because
There's some
it's
funny
just
people.
hilarious. Some people are so hilarious. Y'all know me and my struggle with Lena Hidalgo, right? But her thing that they put, literally ABC News just posted that masks don't work, right? And then the next day they post about Lena's mandate on the mask. I'm like, guys, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? You no longer make sense, dear news people. Like, you no longer make sense. So people were saying like, yes, the cloth masks don't work. And I know some of our listeners are nurses, so maybe they can confirm this, right? But there was a comment on there from a person who says they were a nurse. We don't know because they're on the internet, right?
Sure.
But the N95s, right? And whatever those surgical masks are that doctors wear, they're like, well, they don't work. Somebody said, if they didn't work, then why do doctors wear it, right? Because someone said, and those don't work either, right? And someone said, well, they don't work. Why do doctors wear them? So her response, right, was they wear them so while they're doing surgery, don't shit splatter on them, or vice versa. Should they need to sneeze, they're not putting their germs on the patient, or you know what I'm saying, whoever they're caring for. So that's the reason for the mask, not because it's preventing them from a disease or from catching a cold or anything like that. It's so that you're not, like bodily fluids are not getting on each other. It's yours on them and them on yours. So that's what the surgical masks are for. It has nothing to do with being like protected from a virus.
There's also such a precise protocol to masks, like the way that you're supposed to handle them, the way you put them on. The areas you're supposed to touch. You're not supposed to touch anything else. You're not supposed to touch your face. If you clean it or have,
well, that's why someone puts it on. For them, right? And then if you happen to have one you can clean, it's literally, I think it's on either the CDC's website or I forgot what medical journal. It tells you it needs to be washed in a hospitalized industrial washer, dryer, and that's the only way you can reuse them. Not putting them in your fucking rearview mirror
and then your pocket.
Okay. And here's my other thing with them, right? Legit. Have you ever sneezed through one of them?
No, that's disgusting.
Okay, well, I've worn them and been out and like have needed to sneeze. And so that no one thinks they're going to get the virus, I sneeze in my thing. And so out of habit, what do you do? I still do this, even though I'm wearing the mask, because it's just habit to cover myself. I felt that shit on my forearm. I spit on my forearm through the cloth. I mean, I didn't get as much as if, you know what I'm saying, but I felt it go through it. And I was like, okay, if y'all say so. At this point, I've given up. At this point, I no longer have conversation. I just laugh. And so when Lena Hidalgo posted this thing about how we're still fighting for mandated masks in places of business, I do feel that if it's your business, like my mom, she still makes people wear masks. When I walk in, I'm always like, she's like, where's your mask? And I'll just go.
That is so bizarre.
I tell her, you know they don't work, Ma. So why are you making people wear it? She's like, well, whatever little protection it does. I said, no protection, but okay. She read more than you guys did on the Fauci emails.
Which tonight, 8 p.m., Project Veritas has never before seen documents being released on Fauci tonight.
On YouTube?
On Instagram and anywhere that they get allowed.
I can't wait. Oh, man. So it's funny, right? And so I tell them, I'm like, I'm just sitting there and I'm always like mad at myself. And I'm just like, whatever, you know, I'm just looking at her. I'm like, this is so ridiculous, you know. I just be following her rules in her business. So I get it when it's your business. Yeah. Those are the rules that you have. And that's how I think it should be, to be honest with you. If you feel comfortable with making people wear masks to go inside your business, it's your fucking business. You pay the rent there. You provide whatever you want to do. It's your shit. I get it.
It's your revenue. You want it or you don't want it.
Exactly. So I told my mom, I'm like, has anybody left because of it? She's like, yeah. I'm like, and you're okay with that? She's like, yeah. I'm like, okay. Really? She goes, I've been here 30 blah, blah, blah years. She's like, my clientele, her true 1,000 fans. You know what I'm saying? She's been there so long. It's her regular customers. So they'll still follow whatever rules she says because she's been there for so many years. That's their hairdresser for life. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like they'll do it. And I'm just like, I can't believe it, Ma. I can't believe no one's come in here. I said, and has given you like, she said, no, one lady did. And she walked down. She just said, okay, sorry you feel that way. That was it. My mom's like, I don't care. I'm like, okay. But that post about Lena Hidalgo, like being proud that she's keeping that, you know what I'm saying, going in the courts. And I'm just like, Lena, y'all just promoted that these damn masks don't work.
Yesterday.
Stop with the propaganda. I put it on there. I said, just stop. Y'all don't know what to say anymore to the people. If you've already put enough fear in everybody, just stop already. Let's start 2022 fresh, bitch, and start telling some truth here.
We have shifted in a pink pill to month here.
And I'm wearing pink today.
No, you look like a pink pill today.
And then someone writes back, and she's a U.S. vet, and says, where'd you get that from? Masks do work. Check the CDC. I said, actually, check the CDC again, because they were the ones that also said the masks don't work. So, and that's all I replied. And I don't ever really get on Twitter, so I don't really have that energy to like
go back and forth.
So I don't even know if she replied, but I got the alert for that one. But I get so many people that like my comments, you know what I'm saying, on there. So I do get alerted when it says they like it. But she replied, and I saw it because she at me, I guess. I really don't know how Twitter works that well. I just like replying to her all the time, you know. But I just be like thinking to myself, like, it's 2022. We have got to stop. Like, just stop with the fear. Let's provide our U.S., you know, our American citizens with legit protocol for someone who has COVID. My sister caught it, Rob. Did I talk about this yet?
I don't remember that you really went into detail about it.
She ended up in the hospital, and they didn't want to treat her because she was not vaccinated. They didn't ask her, why aren't you vaccinated? She's not even in remission. She's still a cancer patient.
Yeah, no,
They don't know what that vaccine does to someone who's just, so she can't take it yet, should she want to, because she does have underlying issues, which is the cancer. So they didn't ask her. So she said the doctor talked to her from the door and wouldn't talk to her, basically saying she was the problem. That is the reason why everybody else, she's one of the people that are causing the problem to spread.
And if you don't believe that this has all been caused largely by mainstream media propaganda and the government working together with the media to propagandize all this stuff, you are not paying attention. That's dangerous shit right there.
And I'm scared for us.
And they were just saying literally also, the CDC in that same kind of post, that the people that are being told basically to go home, there's nothing we can do for you, and come back when you get really sick, are the ones that are either dying or getting extremely ill. Because there's no pre-treatment.
And I wish people would stop saying that it's the unvaccinated.
Nah, fam. At this point, it's those that have it are spreading it just as much, if not more. But also, this is also from, I don't know if it was CDC, but it was a study that I read over the weekend, that those that have gotten their 2 and their boosters and everything are currently, as I say this, getting more sick if they catch it than those that didn't get any. So look that up.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just over it. And I just want for us as a country to start brand new. I almost feel like this, Rob, and it could be just me and my little, conspiracy theory thinking, right?
I love when you put your conspiracy hat on.
Because,
your conspiracy bun.
I'm on, I'm breastfeeding at 2 a.m. and I just start to read. I also think that the CDC, the president, everybody involved in creating this mess, it's like, fuck, we couldn't go through what we were really trying to plan to do. Let's just give up now, man. We fucked up a lot of shit already. It's fucked up. I think it's enough fucked up. What do you think? Do you think it's enough? Yeah, we're probably not going to get past this point anymore. Like, people are starting to catch on. Too many people are starting to catch on. We couldn't get everybody to get vaccinated. So should we just start telling them a little bit of truth here and there? Let's just throw this one. Oh, you get one truth.
Okay, Street Fighter.
And then here's another one. Oh, you. And it's just like, because it's just like new things keep coming out.
Yeah.
And now it's the CDC saying it. It's not like, you know what I'm saying?
It's not Alex Jones saying it.
Exactly. Now it's just like, it's them. The people who were at first saying one thing, now they're switching their story around and it's another thing. And I feel it's because whatever plan they had, again, I'm going down my rabbit holes, guys, but I feel like whatever plan they had is no longer working.
It ain't working.
So now they're having to kind of tell you the truth. Like, shit, okay, guys, wait a minute. We might have fucked up here. So I don't know that these vaccines might have been exactly what we should have put in y'all. So if you got them, great. But we still don't know what's going to happen to you 10 years from now. So if there's anything else that happens to you, you can't sue us anyway. So.
Oh, by the way, you're still going to get it, and you're probably going to get it again. And I know a couple months ago we told you there's no way you'll get it. You're not going to get sick. You're not going to get the virus.
They didn't say that though, Rob.
But there's compilations all over the internet of them saying, all of them, from President Breezy to the CDC director to Fauci himself, science himself, say, you won't get it.
I just can't anymore. And then, I sent you that DM the other day of the kid getting sent home. That's here in HISD because he was not vaccinated.
Right.
I mean, we've got to put a stop to this.
Well, you vote those people out of there.
Yeah, exactly. We have got to stop allowing this to happen. We shouldn't have to put our kids in private school. We shouldn't have to homeschool our kids. You know what I'm saying? We're all tax-paying citizens, whether you pay very little or you pay a lot. We all pay taxes. It doesn't matter. And you should care just as much as the person who pays more taxes than you. Everybody should care. We should all care. These are the people who are going to be the future for us. So do you want idiots, or do you actually want some children who go to school to learn something and not sit there and get taught bullshit? You know what I'm saying? Because they're not even teaching real shit anymore. I don't even know what they teach anymore. I don't know. Do you know this? Check this out. So I told Penny, I said, would you like to go to school, or would you like for mom to be your teacher? This is what I said to her, right? She says, no, I want mom to be my teacher. I said, well, why? She goes, I just don't want to go. And I said, but you like school. You go to Sunday school, right? That's who I give her the example. She goes, well, yeah, I like going when I go to church, basically. She's like, but I want you to be my teacher. So I decided I would start practicing with her, right? So we worked on numbers, right? We were doing 11 through 20. Even though she skips a few here and there, but I just want her, as much as she has them like memorize 1 through 10, I want the same for 11 through 20, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so she was kind of distracted. She was playing around. I said, look how I threatened her. I said, do you want to go to school or do you want mom to be your teacher? She looks at me, you. I said, okay. So well, you got to listen to me. Otherwise, you're going to go to school. Okay. And that's how I got her to listen to me. I had to threaten her to go to school. That she was going to go to school.
First, you're going to chop her arm off. She doesn't listen to you. Now you're threatening her to go to it.
She's going to go to school. She doesn't want to go to school. She does not think that it's cool. Like, I don't know what I created here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't believe it. And I think it has to do with, I've always been her teacher. Does that make sense? I've always played schools with her. You know what I'm saying? And so we fill her backpack up and she comes in and she opens her journal as if she's coming to school. She's just coming to sit at the table with me, but she loves pretending, right? She loves pretend play. So as long as it seems like pretend play to her, she's down for it. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I've managed to teach her like ABCs, the one, like 1, 2, 3, how to add. She only knows how to add 1 + 1 and 2 + 2. That's it.
Pretty good.
Yeah. For 3. Yeah, that's good. But, and that's with the endless numbers that I use. I use that app and because that's what it does. It adds it up for you. So it shows you had 2 + 2 = 4. And so it goes all the way up. So, we practice together and I show her with fingers. So she thinks it's cool. The other day, because, she's got a gazillion poppets, I laid down all the poppets on her table and I said, it said 2 + 2. How much is that? 4. Okay. Pop 4. So she pops 4. So now it's like, oh shit, this is a game. All right, let's see if you can pop. How many are you going to pop now? All right, it's 6. 1, 2. And so she's popping. So she thinks she's just like having this big old game of, of numbers. And so that's what I've done. But anyway, I thought it was funny that I had to threaten her to go to school and that I wouldn't be her teacher.
It's going to be interesting when that time actually comes and you have to make that choice.
It has to be this year.
Oh.
This year, because she turns 4.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, it is this year. I told Pete already. It's like it's either she's going to private school or I'm going to have to be the homeschool. And we really need to think about this. I was like, because it's going to fall on me. And so I'm going to slack somewhere where, you know what I'm saying? So I told him, I said, you're going to really have to back me up. I said, because we're going to have to both carve out time to get. And the cool thing is, for example, my aunt's friend who homeschooled her daughter, Christy, you met Christy. She homeschooled her daughter all the way through eighth grade. And she didn't like it. Why? Because they make school so long in class, right? But here you pretty much can knock out school in probably the first 2 hours. You take a break and then you take another 2. She was in Hawaii and she was supposed to be in school. We were in Hawaii and they were on the beach doing history homework.
Wow.
How fun is that? I said, Christy, how were you able to bring her? I was like, did you withdraw her out of school so y'all could come to Lily's wedding? You know, I'm like being judgy, right? I'm like, she goes, she's homeschooled. She goes, and this is, I just taught her the history about Pearl Harbor. And she starts going all about it. She goes, we're going to go visit. And I'm like, what? What a genius. Yeah. She just made this whole trip into a field trip. I was like, wow, I couldn't believe it. I was like, that was amazing that she like, we're going to go to this trip. How can I still use this as an educational tool for her? How can we learn about this, about Hawaii?
Yeah.
About how we learn about this state. And so that's what she did. So she's like, anytime we go somewhere, she's like, because sometimes her husband travels for work as well. She's like, anytime, her husband kind of works with rebuilding things that get destroyed due to like hurricanes or anything like that, natural disasters. She's like, if we're going to go with him and we're at the hotel, she's like, I would start to get ideas of what she can learn about that state. She's like, and we would make that part of her lesson. And I thought that was pretty damn cool because that's great, right? How many kids really know something about every state that you go?
Yeah, not many.
Exactly.
Most people
can't even. Yeah, true. So my point is, I wish that this country would just stop with the propaganda and let's just start 2022 fresh. I'll even forgive you, Brandon and fuckface. I'll forgive y'all.
You just got to admit you were wrong.
If you can just tell me we did mess up. We shouldn't have done this, but you know what? We're going to make it better in these next 2 years.
No, they're just going to double down on more of the nonsense.
And if they could just do that. Yeah, 3 years.
It's only been 1 year of this.
Yes, I know. I forgot. We're barely in January 2022. If they just did that, Rob, I could go for that. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with you admitting it and saying you're going to fix this. How many of us are going to be mad? Probably a lot. But the fact that you could admit that you were wrong says a lot. And I would honestly be forgiving. I'm not going to lie.
I totally agree with you. But in a that's a wishful thinking kind of mentality, which I appreciate. But when you're talking about these real narcissistic, sociopathic, crazy, criminal politicians, it's not going to happen.
And the way they just work together, both parties, is even crazier.
Yeah.
It is just even crazier. That's why I don't like to be labeled, because I just feel like, don't label me. I'm just a free thinker, and I just go with the real, what's happening for real. That's all it is.
Yeah, and whoever can
and
show
whoever's
me
going to show exactly
if they're doing more of what I believe is the right way to do it, then you have my vote.
Exactly. I'm just not going to do this shit again. I just can't wait to go vote out Lena Doggo. Like I'm gonna campaign for that. Like, she needs to be out. It's got to stop. We can't keep allowing this to happen. Like, it just can't. We can't start 2022 on a shitty foot already.
No, we're starting on a great foot in the HERR Lounge podcast group, in the community, in the challenge group, in the Patreon, HERR Lounge, HERR Community.
And I'm so proud of me, like, having all your stuff. I thought that I was going to start posting on Thursdays, the recipes, but I think they're better on Sundays because people can prep for the week.
Oh, yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So I was going to post it on Thursday, and then I got this crazy idea of, why don't you post it on Sunday? So if they want to meal prep, they have it ready. But I forgot I left it in a draft because it was already ready to go, because it was supposed to be on I posted it Thursday technically. But when I was writing the recipe, I was like, no, I should post it. And then I remembered, I'm like, shit, because I hadn't been on social media all day. I was like, oh shit, I never released the draft. I was like, I gotta do that. So I did that. I was already kind of late on Sunday, but it went up on the day that I wanted it to go up, and that's what I'm excited about. So I'm starting
baby steps.
So next Sunday, the Patronas and Chingonas will have another recipe. And it'll be the overnight oats, and then it's the egg white bites, and then it's another overnight oats. And the cool thing about it is that these are all things that you can make at home. So the actual jelly that will go in the jar, like whether it be a strawberry, a blueberry, will be it's homemade. So you're not buying that shit. So they're gonna be good recipes.
Holla.
And I'm making one with Brianda's collagen, which will be in this week's entrepreneur box.
Nice. So
it's really cool. It goes in the blueberry flavor. The good thing about Brianda is it can go in any flavor because it has no flavor.
Yeah.
So that's the good thing about hers.
That's how we start our days. I mix a scoop of protein and a scoop of her collagen.
I put it in my water.
That's good too.
And I'm drinking it in there. I'm sure it's too much water probably for the one scoop that I put in there.
It's a big scoop.
Yeah, it is a very big scoop, because whenever I put it in the overnight oats, it's like,
yeah, I mean, that combined with the protein is like 60 grams of protein in that drink. I think she mixes it with her coffee.
Oh yeah, that's not a bad idea. I didn't think about a coffee.
Yeah,
I do it in my water. So I was like, I started doing it in my water. If I don't have it in the overnight oats, if I didn't put it in, I'll do it in the water. But if I had it in the overnight oats, which I had it today,
our Discord was asking about that recipe, by the way, the espresso overnight oats.
And that is dedicated to my Patreon. Sign up at www.patreon.com/HERR Lounge Podcast. And I know I shouldn't have said www because Rob always says I don't need to say it, so I'm sorry. I'm still living in 1999, maybe.
That's what I heard. Yeah, I heard you were having a whole conversation in the group about how you.
I thought it was hilarious. I couldn't stop laughing when I read Asenet's comment. I sometimes wonder what year Marisol lives in. I'm like, what? But it's funny because I say certain things sometimes, like my cousin Ashley, the one that puts my extensions in. I don't know what we were talking. I think I've said this before, where I'm like, oh yeah, and like, I don't understand like the base, and she's like,
Oh yeah.
and she was
The
like,
makeup.
what is that? I'm like,
Foundation, right?
foundation. She's like, it's called foundation. It's not called base. And I'm like, it's not, like, that's what it was called. What is it? What? And it's hilarious. You know what I'm saying? Because I still use those words.
Some hairs are just better than others.
But you know what I feel better about? After Aston had pointed out that she had no idea why I said Kinko's, because she hasn't heard the word Kinko's in forever. I went off and asked other people about when was the last time they heard Kinko's, and they were like, what? There's no Kinko's anymore? So I'm glad I'm not the only old fart around here.
Well, if you ask people your age, yeah, they're all going to agree with you.
Pete's like, wait, there's not a Kinko's? I'm like,
oh, that's the best person to have.
Apparently not.
This was the last time he went to go fax a paper.
He had to go not too long ago. That's what's funny.
Okay, that's funny.
He had to go, but he went to Staples.
Oh, okay.
It was funny. I was like, because I told him, I said, who faxes anything? Oh, you know what it was? It was the parking passes.
Oh, yeah. Government bodies.
I was like, who faxes? Yeah. I'm like, and then I called them, and I'm like, you could have emailed it. They didn't tell you that, right? Of course. When I called them about it, I'm like, can you tell me the status of my application, man? I'm like, I need my passes. Like, guys, for any of y'all wonder what I'm talking about, in my street is the only street in this damn subdivision that requires for you to have a parking pass to park on the street.
Because your shit will get towed.
It will get towed. We got towed the first night we moved into this house. But my neighbor down the street owns about half the block. He was tired of these TSU students parking on our street and making it look crowded. He thought it looked trashy. So he went and put a complaint with the city. The city approved it. So you're no longer allowed to park on the street unless you have a parking pass. Well, my parking passes were not in yet. So we were having to pay musical cars.
Yeah.
Moving cars to park. And so Sean was supposed to be as a guest last week. But because my passes still weren't in, I pushed him to this week. But this week he had something come up, so now it's like we keeps getting
eventually we'll get him in here.
And Donna asked me if I wanted to have a friend of hers on here, which I thought is going to be cool to have her on here. But I said, can I tell you when my passes come in, and then I can have her on? I said, because right now we have a parking issue. I was like, I can't have more than two people park right now. I said, because I don't have any parking passes. So parking passes are here. I know where I can go pick them up now. I am no longer going to ever submit an application. I'm just going to go there. When I get the application in the mail, I'm just going to fill it out. Like literally, it's 6 minutes from my house. I didn't even know. And because, of course, they're not going to tell you all that information on the
you got to call.
A call.
You got to dig it out.
So anyway.
So we'll switch over to the subject we were going to somehow talk in steps. It worked out.
Yeah, I really wanted to talk about Sex in the City. If you haven't been watching this, or you have, I'm a huge fan. I've always been a huge fan. But this time around, they've just been very predictable. I'm still watching because I'm still a fan, right?
Okay. Oh, I can't wait to dig into it.
Let's get started. So thank you guys for listening. See you guys on Friday.